Cowboys 22, Rams 10. Boy, oh boy, was this a case of an offensive line that is not very good running up against what is
already making excuses.
Defensive lines in football.
Make excuses for Matthew Stafford. Go ahead.
Dude, he's under siege. What are you talking about?
He's like Steven Seagal.
He's out for justice.
I mean, it just felt like they got they had a Matt Gay 29-yard field goal in the first quarter to make it 9-3. And then they had Cooper Kupp's long touchdown pass. It just felt like they couldn't do anything on offense. The Rams, that is.
Breech, let me ask you, is Riley Dixon a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford? He was 1 for 1 on his attempts on that fake punt. I thought it was Hecker back there. He made it look pretty seamless.
Well, I think that was the twist there, is that you don't suspect the fake from the Rams as much anymore with Hecker out of there. And then Riley Dixon came in and made a huge play. But, of course, it didn't end up helping the Rams at all. And you know what's funny is we talked about this last week. Brinson asked us what our concern level was with the Rams, and I was an 8.3. I was already high. And now...
Yes, you were high.
I'm into the 9 range. I'm up to 9.1 with my concern level with the Rams. Their offensive line is atrocious. I mean, it's, obviously Andrew Whitworth gone, Austin Corbett's gone, and then you had to fill in for those guys, but they're dealing with injuries. So you have second string guys, you have third string guys in there. And if you play a good defensive front, the Rams can't do anything. I mean, they got destroyed by the 49ers. The Cowboys defense destroyed them. I don't know what the Rams can do to fix the problem right now, except for trade for 3 all-pro offensive linemen. But that doesn't.
They don't have any draft picks.
What are they going to trade? So, unless they totally revamp their offense in such a way that they're running the ball more to take some pressure off Matthew Stafford, but they can't even do that because they can't run the ball.
So, Breech, let me read some comments to you. Eric Baker, says Stafford washed, plain and simple. Jay-Z says Stafford does hold onto the ball too long, though, in response to Brinson. And finally, someone named, Joe Musso points out Brinson is the violinist of the Rams Titanic. Your response, sir?
You root for the Bears?
I don't think any of those 3 comments are out of line. They feel pretty spot on.
Musso. You tell Musso, the guy thinks he's been. I bet he actually spends like an extra 15 minutes waiting to get in this chat just so he can act like he's been working for the entire time.
So you don't want to defend Matthew Stafford playing like Russ Wilson?
I mean, they look bad. They're terrible against a good defense. They're just not going to be any good. That offensive line is absolute trash, and Stafford is not playing well. They need a second receiver. They need a better offensive line. Matthew Stafford looks like he looks like he's injured. He looks like he's dealing with a bunch of banged up injuries, and he's got a bad offensive line.
Quit making. I will say, I don't think you're wrong. And Breech is exactly right. The offensive line are down to, the 8th and 9th stringers. Allen Robinson is still wearing his invisibility cloak, which he refuses to take off. Or his
I love that the haters and the losers come rushing out to murder Matthew Stafford as soon as they can.
It's your fault, by the way. You've been crapping on all these fan bases. They probably liked Matthew Stafford before you started chirping. So they come out to dump on you, and Matthew Stafford's the innocent bystander catching strays.
Brinson, is Matthew Stafford still a Hall of Famer? Has he lost your vote?
Oh, boy.
No, he's still going to get in the Hall of Fame.
He's going to buy a ticket to get in there, though.
We'll see.
When Andy Dalton's inducted.
They're 2 and 3. They don't look good.
Personally, I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
Thank you. They lost to the Bills. They lost to a Cowboys team that has a really good defense, and they lost to
Cooper Rush.
And you know what the combination? All those 3 games have in common. They didn't score more than 10 points in any of those 3 games.
Ouch. They have been very bad against very good defenses, and Sean McVay has a lot to figure out if he wants to maintain this run of 9+ win seasons that he's had ever since he took over the Rams. I'm confident that he'll be able to figure something out. I don't know what that is. Brady Quinn and I talked about it on earlier this week. It was you can either try and make some sort of schematic adjustments, or you can just try and do what you want to do and hope your guys get better. It's not great. Look, Cooper Rush,
not great.
Cooper Rush is now 5-0 to begin.
Going back to last season, he's 5-0, 4-0 this season. That's exactly
4-0
right.
this season, and I think making a very good case
for
why you should not bring Dak Prescott back until he's 100%.
Well, let me. That's funny you mentioned that, because BMAC talked to me and Joe Musso about this in HQ, and BMAC said the next game is at Philadelphia, and he said if Cooper Rush goes to Philadelphia and wins that game, Dak does not get his job back.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
What if he goes there and wins, though? And he's 6-0 lifetime, 5-0 this year, and Dak's still not 100%. You can make up any story you want about the health of his broken hand. Cooper's along.
If Dak is 100%, if Dak is healthy and ready to play, Dak is playing.
What if Cooper Rush plays in week 6 against the Eagles and the Cowboys win? And then Dak is healthy enough to play in week 7 against the Lions and the Cowboys lose. Then
what do you do?
That's what makes things more.
Or you're not benching Dak for Cooper Rush.
What about this, though? What about this scenario? I brought this up to BMAC. What if Dak rushes back? If he's ready next week, who knows? But let's say he rushes back next week to play that Eagles game because he wants to be in the mix for a very important game. At halftime, the Cowboys are down 21-3, and Dak's thrown 2 interceptions. What do you do at halftime?
Maybe if it's for injury, maybe you bench him. If it's
he's not injured. He's exactly the same.
No, remember when Russ came back last year against the Packers? Was like clearly not ready to come back.
Looked horrible the rest of the season.
So I'm asking you, what do you do at halftime if Dak is the same health level as he was when you started the game and they're down 21-3 with 2 interceptions?
I think you can say Dak is too injured. Dak is not playing well. He's hurt. We're going to pull him out and put Cooper Rush in.
They're not going to be down 21-3 because no team has scored 20 points against them. That's the trick question, Wilson. Trick question. Shout out to Brinson for
what?
Being the closest on the Dak return. Wilson, you and I guessed the Philly game. This was 2 weeks ago. This was after they beat the Giants.
What did he say?
He said he would hold him out until the bye, and that's starting to look like what might happen because I don't think he's going to play against the Eagles.
Well, how do we know that? We don't know
the way
that.
Dak talked about his injuries. That made it sound like he's not as close as Jerry would have hoped.
Right.
And that's basically probably because Cooper Rush is winning games. But it was also worth noting that the Cowboys had 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals in this game. One touchdown was a strip sack that DeMarcus Lawrence took back, and the other was a Tony Pollard jailbreak for 57 yards. So Cooper Rush finished the game 10-16, 102 yards. They averaged 4.5 yards per play. It is a narrative.
But he didn't make any mistakes.
It's
and here's the thing.
wins that we're talking about here, not like Cooper Rush.
Not necessarily. How many interceptions and fumbles does Cooper Rush have in the last?
He doesn't turn the ball over, and he allows them to have these little dink and dunk drives where they eat up clock and the defense is rested. I mean, like it's clearly a winning formula. But if Dak is healthy, Dak is playing.
But it's not strictly QB wins because many a backup quarterback comes in and many a backup quarterback throws interceptions and has fumbles.
Kyle Allen did the same thing as Cooper Rush like 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
Without any interceptions or fumbles?
I don't remember for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know no touchdowns either.
Yeah, he likes zeros.
Do you think he's more like Kyle Allen or more like Patrick Mahomes?
Is that a trick question?
I mean, I'm just saying, like it's like Dak is playing. Like I understand the hot takes are going to be coming. But
how about Billy promoting the Eagles only content in the comments? Get out of here, Billy.
Ridiculous. All right, let's move on. So what do you think? Cowboys 4-1. Like, I mean, the Cowboys are still alive to win the division. Like they beat the Eagles.
They're winning games with Cooper Rush. They're for real. I mean, that's
still alive. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mentioned this on the at halftime. But like Dan Quinn has to get a job this offseason.
And you know which job he's not getting? The Cowboys job, because Mike McCarthy is safe as you can be with Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush saved that man's job.
It's unbelievable.
Dan Quinn's gonna be coaching the Panthers.
The Panthers should hire Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn does not want that job.
And not even tell Matt Rule he's fired. Just hire Quinn.
And don't tell Dan Quinn either. Just take him hostage and make him show up in Charlotte.
Maybe he'll bring Cooper Rush with him. Okay.